I overdosed. The people I was hanging out with Narcaned me twice, called the ambulance, and then left. They just left.
Hey everybody, my name is Pej, the interventionist. I am back with my friend Ryan. We had another video in relation to Ryan's upbringing, what happened with his early addiction in his life, and how he became homeless by the age of, 28?
Yeah.
Okay, so by 28 years old, you were homeless at a shelter in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
And people were there, they were using within the shelter. Were you using with them?
Yeah, so...
Like, were you allowed to use at the shelter?
No,
Okay.
no. If we got caught using anything in the shelter, they would kick us out. But it was easy to sneak stuff in because they didn't have metal detectors. They didn't...
What were you using there?
Meth and heroin.
Okay, and did you just sit in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Were you shooting heroin?
So I started smoking it because I was afraid of needles. Like, I was that person that was like, I would never shoot up any substance. Like, I was cool with tinfoil, a tutor, and just smoking it. And then I seen people around me start shooting up. Okay. And I was like, I gotta try this. I gotta see what's up about it.
And then did you, down the line, end up leaving that shelter?
Yeah.
Within how long?
How
long were you there for?
Years.
You were in that shelter in downtown Salt Lake City for years.
And when they got too filled up, I would sleep at the Greyhound.
Okay, and what, people were allowed to sleep at the Greyhound?
No, you buy a ticket, they let you sleep there. But I got a really good in with the security guard. He told me if I didn't use, I could crash there only when the shelter would fill up. Okay,
and then how many years were you there estimated?
Let's see, I want to say about 7.
And then where did you end up going after that?
Not 7, about 5.
5 years?
Yeah.
What'd you do after that?
A guy came to the Greyhound, asked me if I had my license, and asked me to drive him and his son out here to California.
Okay. And then you ended up in what, the Valley?
Yeah.
In Los Angeles?
First it was Reseda, and he let us live at his house as long as we didn't steal and as long as we were honest. He would give us money for our addiction, and he would buy us food.
He'd give you money for your addiction?
Yeah.
Why?
Your guess is as good as mine. He turned into a cuckoo.
And maybe he already was cuckoo, you just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And you ended up with this girl, and the two of you ended up hitting the streets?
Yeah, I knew this girl for about a week. She came out here with me. We were together. We were hustling. We were making money. Like, she would go do her thing. And being homeless, what's going on. You know what I mean? But we cared about each other in the sense of days she would take care of my addiction, days I would take care of her addiction. So it was common ground. Like, you go do you, don't tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'll do me. I won't tell you what I do, and we'll just keep it that way. And then I started noticing stuff. We got kicked out of dude's house, and then we started sleeping on the side of the freeway in Reseda. And then we just moved down, all the way down to the Valley on Corbin. And yeah, we just hung out. There was portions of times where we wouldn't kick it and stuff. But,
and how long were you homeless on the streets of the Valley and Reseda?
Let's see. I met you last year.
Yeah.
So the day that I called you, 100 days ago, that was the point where I stopped being homeless.
No, but how long were you homeless in California?
6 years.
6 years of homelessness. How would a person that is homeless like you shower? Or did you shower?
Yes, I showered a lot because I'm a bigger dude.
Yeah.
So when you're a bigger dude, you got to make sure you don't stink that much.
Yeah.
So I would go to gas stations, and they have the air compressors on either side. One side has water, the other has air, and that's how I would shower. I would wash my clothes that way.
You'd rinse yourself off there?
Yeah.
What about moving traffic and people would they see you?
I would do it at nighttime. You know, that dead hour between 2 and like 4 a.m.?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd be there washing yourself?
Yeah.
And washing your clothes?
Yeah.
How would you dry your clothes?
There was a laundromat that opened up at 7, and I would hustle, and it would cost me $1.
Right, just to dry up.
Yeah, because those big dryers, 25
Where would you
cents?
sleep at night?
On the side of a 7-Eleven in a tent.
So you weren't thinking about going to a shelter? You wanted to just be outdoors?
Yeah, like out here, they have a lot of programs, and they have a lot of things that help homeless people. But to me, you have to put in the work to find those places. Like, there's the LA spot that I was in. It was a place where they had the tiny homes and a hotel and stuff like that. And we got into a hotel and stayed there for a couple of months. But then I got kicked out because of being violent and all that stuff. And
so was it meth?
Meth, fentanyl. And then when I first got out here, it was heroin.
When did you first get introduced to fentanyl? What year do you know?
Let's see,
approximately?
3 years ago.
So that would be 2020.
Yeah,
And you'd already been doing heroin, but suddenly
yeah,
fentanyl
yeah.
hit
Heroin
hit the scene,
disappeared.
disappeared. And were you just panhandling, or were you just
Yeah, I'd
hustling?
panhandle, hold
Did you
a
steal things to
sign.
get drugs?
Yeah,
Okay. What would you steal from stores and things like
yeah.
that?
Like
And
if
burglarized places?
no, never burglarized. I did that in Utah,
Yeah, you didn't do it
but
here.
out here, no. People, they're strapped. I ain't
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Okay, so down the line, you ended up calling me
Yes, sir.
and wanting to get help. What had happened? What was your crisis point in your life?
My crisis point was the last time that I overdosed.
Uh-huh.
I had just got out of LA County. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my life right.
Right.
And then within, I want to say 72 hours,
Mhm.
I took one hit of fentanyl because I was like, oh, I got this. Just one hit won't hurt. I overdosed. The people I was hanging out with Narcaned me twice, called the ambulance, and then left.
Mhm.
They just left. And so I woke up to CMTs giving me mouth to mouth and resuscitating me. And I didn't know Narcan could wear off. So when I went to the hospital, I overdosed again. And they had to hit me twice again in the hospital. Kept me there for 3 days, tried to get into a program because at that point, being alone and not having nobody in the hospital, like
Right.
I didn't want to call my mom and be like, oh, I just overdosed. That'd break her heart.
Mhm.
So when I got out of the hospital, I called my mom. You know how when I've heard you speak, you're like, oh, when it's done, you run back to your mommy, right?
Yeah.
That's what I did. And I was like, Mom, you need to buy me a phone. I need to call my aunt. She lives in Laguna.
Yeah.
I need to get a hold of her. And she had heard of you through a friend
Mhm.
that was in the house previous.
Mhm.
And she was waiting for me to call so I could call you.
The day that you called me, you said you were done and you really wanted to take all direction. And all things considered, we did help you come down, get the help that you need, change
You
your life. There was a few ups and downs in the beginning, but you're on the path of recovery. And how does it feel to be a sober man now?
I wouldn't, what's that saying? I wouldn't give up my best day high for my worst day sober. Because being sober has changed my life in so many ways. I'm grateful. I wake up every day thanking God that I got another breath in my body because I couldn't have that before. It was up in the air, and now I can. Tomorrow's not promised, but I know if as long as I stay sober 24 hours, I can get that opportunity.
How nice it is to see you on this path and really taking this serious. I mean, I see so much spiritual, mental, emotional growth. I love you dearly.
Thank you. I love you too, Pesh. Like, for real, you saved my life, bro.
Oh man, I'm just doing God's work. If you are somebody that you know is struggling with addiction of any sort, if you have somebody that's homeless, please let us know. We'd love to be able to try to explore options on how to help them. My number is 310-596-9356. My name is Pej.